how do you actually go from an intermediate level in a language to an advanced level? This is a question I get all the time. And the truth is, the answer is much simpler than you think. You don't need some brand new magic method. You don't need to completely change how you study. What you really need is to keep doing what you're doing. The same things that got you to an intermediate level will get you to an advanced level. You simply have to do more of it, and you have to do it better. Because language learning always comes down to three things. Number one, learning a lot of useful sentences. Number two, doing massive amounts of listening. Number three, doing massive amounts of speaking. That's it. That's the formula. And it's the same whether you're a complete beginner or you're aiming for a C1 or even C2 level. The only difference is in the material. At the beginner stage, you're learning simple, basic sentences. At the intermediate stage, you need to raise the ceiling. You need to upgrade the sentences you're practicing with. You need to raise the quality of what you listen to. You need to push your speaking practice much further. So let's break it down. First, the sentences. If you're at an intermediate level already, you already have your language islands. Those are the little groups of sentences that you use to talk about yourself, your life, your work, etc. The things you usually talk about in real life. You've already learned all those sentences. You're able to speak fluently. Now, here's how you level up. You take those sentences and you rewrite them in a more advanced way. You could do this yourself or ask a native speaker to do it, but the easiest way is with AI. Simply give them to AI and ask it to rewrite them at a C1 or even C2 level. They'll be much longer and much more complex, with richer vocabulary, with better linking words, connectors, transitions, and of course with much more sophisticated grammar structures. So instead of saying something basic like, I like to read books, your upgraded version might be something like, I enjoy reading books, especially those that challenge my perspective and introduce me to new ideas. Now, I know nobody talks like that in real life, but that's what a C2 level actually looks like. So it's basically the same thought, but expressed in a much more advanced manner. Now, once you have those upgraded sentences, you go back to the basics. You learn them the exact same way you learned your earlier material. You read them and listen to them dozens of times. Repetition is what makes them stick. You need to hear and say those upgraded sentences dozens of times. And that's how you start sounding advanced. Now let's talk about listening. At the beginner stage, the most effective thing you can do is to listen to your own sentences over and over again. Not random TV shows or comprehensible input YouTube channels. Or endless podcasts you barely understand. No, you should listen to the exact same sentences you're trying to learn. Loop them and listen to them again and again and again until they're burnt into your brain. You should have a love-hate relationship with these sentences. You should be sick and tired of them, but you should also be able to use them easily in conversation. That's how you learn to speak a language fast. But now, once you speak the language and your goal is to reach an advanced level, you have to repeat the same process with your advanced sentences. You should be looping them and repeating them over and over again. But now also you should add authentic content. This means podcasts, audiobooks, interviews, debates, shows, the kind of things that educated native speakers listen to. And quick warning here, there's a lot of garbage out there. There's no shortage of trashy content for mouth breathers. And if that's your thing, fine. Watch it if you like it. But if you actually want to sound intelligent in the target language, if you want to expand your vocabulary, if you want to sound C2 level, you should choose higher quality input. Things that smart and educated people watch, read, or listen to. There's no way around it. You have to do it, even if you don't like it. That's really important. The combination of both, an advanced version of your sentence lists on repeat and authentic content together with it, is what pushes your listening skills into advanced territory. And then we have the third piece, speaking. And this is where most learners fail. At an intermediate level, you can already communicate. So when you talk to native speakers, most of them won't correct you because they understand you. They are polite and they want to keep the conversation going. They don't want to interrupt you and correct you. So you'll make mistakes, nobody will correct you, and you will not realize you're making mistakes. Those mistakes will fossilize. You'll keep making them forever. That's how you get all those immigrants and expats making the same mistakes and sounding like shit after 20 years of living in the country. I'm not saying you shouldn't speak to native speakers. Of course, you should speak to native speakers. And the more, the better. But you should also do deliberate practice. You take out your phone and you start recording voice notes. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. Do it all the time. Talk about your day, talk about your plans, talk about your opinions on anything. It doesn't matter what the topic is. Although you should try to speak about a bunch of different topics. But the most important thing is that you speak a lot and that you get feedback. You should send these voice messages to a native speaker if you have one who's willing to put up with this stuff. Or much better, AI. Send the voice messages to AI and ask it to correct them, to give you feedback, and also to give you an improved C2 level version of what you said. And then you add those corrected sentences at a C2 level to your language islands, and you also learn them. You make audio files with them, you listen to them, you do shadowing, etc. You know the drill. And writing works exactly the same way. You set a timer for a few minutes, and you write as much as you can. And then you run it through AI for correction, and also for improving your style, to make it sound like C2 level. All those corrected sentences of your voice messages and your writing should be added to your language islands and also learned. So all that speaking and writing practice feeds back into your system, generates new personalized sentences that are also at an advanced level. It expands your fluency. And if you do this day after day, you'll improve really, really fast. You'll constantly upgrade the vocabulary and the grammar structures that you use when speaking. And that's all you need to do. So let me give you a simple routine you can follow. Every day, spend 30 to 60 minutes listening to your own sentences, their advanced version, on repeat. Do shadowing with them. Say them aloud. Do active recall with them. Translate them into the target language with feedback. Also, every day, record yourself speaking for at least 10 minutes and send it to AI for feedback. It doesn't have to be all at once. You can break it into small chunks. Also, every day, write at least one short text and get it corrected by AI. And all that feedback, you add it to your language islands. Also, at least 30 minutes of authentic input with advanced content for educated, intelligent people. And that's basically it. That's how you bridge the gap between B2 level and C2 level. And let me tell you something important. The fundamentals of language learning don't change. You need to learn sentences, you need to listen a lot, and you need to speak a lot with feedback. It's always the same 3 things. At the beginning, you do it with simple materials. At an intermediate level, you upgrade to more difficult materials. If you do all of this consistently, you'll eventually hit C1 level, and if you keep going, you'll hit C2 level as well. The process is simple. The only question is if you've got the work ethic and the discipline to do it.